What happens when an FBI agent's son assaults a 67-year-old Korean War veteran in a bar fight, then walks into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom and starts flashing his father's FBI badge claiming federal immunity? This 36-year-old man is about to learn that some badges aren't yours to flash, some immunity doesn't exist, and some fathers lose everything when their sons impersonate federal officers. But what makes this case devastating isn't just the assault on a veteran or the badge flashing. It's what happened when Judge Caprio made one phone call to the FBI field office director that brought federal agents storming into his courtroom to arrest the defendant on the spot, ending not just the son's freedom, but destroying his father's 22-year FBI career in a single afternoon. It's a cold Tuesday morning in Providence Municipal Court. The gallery is packed with spectators who've heard rumors about this case. Marcus Thompson, age 36, son of FBI Special Agent Robert Thompson, faces charges of assault and battery, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest stemming from a violent incident at McGinty's pub 3 nights ago. The victim is 67-year-old Thomas Chen, a decorated Korean War veteran who was quietly having dinner with fellow veterans when Marcus, heavily intoxicated and belligerent, started an argument that escalated into shocking violence. According to multiple witness statements and security footage, Marcus shoved Thomas against the bar with such force that the elderly veteran fell and struck his head on the edge of a wooden bar stool. Thomas suffered a severe concussion, a gash requiring 6 stitches, and spent the night in Rhode Island Hospital under observation. When Providence police officer Sarah Mitchell arrived at the chaotic scene and attempted to arrest Marcus, he became combative and threatening. "Do you know who my father is? He's FBI. Special Agent Robert Thompson. You're making a huge mistake. This will be handled federally. You have no jurisdiction over me." Officer Mitchell arrested him anyway, despite his threats. Marcus spent the night in custody and was released on $10,000 bail the next morning, immediately calling his father to fix this mess. Now, Marcus walks into Judge Caprio's courtroom wearing an expensive charcoal suit, crisp white shirt, and navy silk tie. Everything about his entrance screams privilege and confidence. He carries himself with the assured demeanor of someone who believes this is all a formality, an administrative annoyance that will be resolved in his favor within minutes. His designer watch glints under the courtroom lights as he adjusts his cufflinks. Judge Caprio watches his entrance with the careful, measured attention he gives every defendant. But there's something in Marcus's demeanor that immediately stands out. A smugness, an arrogance, a complete lack of remorse or concern that suggests he's not taking these proceedings seriously at all. The bailiff calls the case, his voice echoing through the packed courtroom. The state of Rhode Island versus Marcus James Thompson. Charges, assault and battery on an elderly person, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. Judge Caprio reviews the charges carefully, his experienced eyes scanning the case file. His voice is calm but carries unmistakable authority. "Mr. Thompson, you're charged with 3 separate offenses. How do you plead?" Marcus stands slowly, deliberately, adjusting his suit jacket with an air of casual arrogance that makes several people in the gallery visibly uncomfortable. "Not guilty, Your Honor. This whole situation has been blown completely out of proportion. It's a misunderstanding." "Blown out of proportion?" Judge Caprio repeats, his tone sharpening. "Mr. Thompson, you assaulted a 67-year-old Korean War veteran who required emergency medical treatment and overnight hospitalization. In what way is that out of proportion?" Marcus shrugs with unsettling casualness. "Your Honor, there was an argument. Things got heated. The old guy got in my face first. I was simply defending myself from an aggressive confrontation." The disrespect in dismissively calling a decorated war veteran the old guy isn't lost on anyone in the courtroom. Several veterans in the gallery shift uncomfortably, their anger barely contained. Judge Caprio's expression tightens, his jaw setting in a way that longtime court observers recognize as a warning sign. "Mr. Thompson, before we proceed any further, I want to make sure we all understand the facts clearly. Mr. Chen is present in court today. Would you please stand, Mr. Chen?" An elderly Asian man stands slowly from the gallery, supporting himself slightly on the bench in front of him. He's wearing a Korean War Veterans Association cap with visible pride, and there's a large white bandage covering a significant portion of his forehead where the stitches are still healing. Despite his injuries and obvious pain, he stands with quiet, unshakable dignity. "Mr. Chen," Judge Caprio says with genuine warmth and deep respect, "thank you for being here today despite your injuries. And thank you for your service to this country." Thomas Chen nods respectfully, his voice soft but clear. "Thank you, Your Honor. It's my honor to be here." Judge Caprio turns back to Marcus, his expression hardening. "Mr. Thompson, do you see Mr. Chen standing there? Do you see that bandage covering the wound on his forehead? That's from when you violently assaulted him 3 nights ago." Marcus barely glances in Thomas's direction, his dismissive attitude shocking everyone present. "Like I said, Your Honor, he got in my face first. I was defending myself. If you're not subscribed, hit that button right now, because what Judge Caprio does next will show you exactly what happens when someone tries to use their father's FBI position to avoid accountability for assaulting a decorated Korean War veteran." Judge Caprio signals the court clerk with a slight nod. "Let's see the security footage from McGinty's pub." The courtroom monitor flickers to life, and everyone watches in absolute silence as the video plays. The interior of McGinty's pub is clearly visible. Marcus appears on screen at the bar, obviously heavily intoxicated, swaying slightly, gesturing wildly and aggressively toward a table where Thomas Chen and 3 other elderly veterans are seated, talking quietly among themselves. The video shows Marcus standing up abruptly, nearly knocking over his barstool, then approaching the veterans' table with visible aggression, pointing and yelling loudly enough that other patrons turn to look. Thomas stands calmly, his body language completely non-threatening, appears to say something in a measured tone, then deliberately turns his back to walk away and defuse the situation. What happens next is captured in brutal clarity. Marcus follows Thomas, and without any warning whatsoever, shoves him violently from behind with both hands. Thomas falls forward helplessly into a barstool, his head striking the wooden edge with a sickening impact that's visible even on the grainy security footage. Blood appears immediately, spreading across his white hair. Other patrons rush to help the fallen veteran. Marcus stands there, still pointing at Thomas on the ground, continuing to yell aggressively. Then Officer Mitchell enters the frame, and Marcus immediately becomes even more combative. The footage is utterly damning. There's no possible self-defense claim. Marcus attacked an elderly, defenseless veteran from behind without provocation. When the video ends, the courtroom remains silent for several long seconds. Judge Caprio turns to Marcus, his voice cold. "Mr. Thompson, you just told this court that Mr. Chen got in your face and you defended yourself. That video shows you attacking a 67-year-old man from behind without warning while his back was turned to you." Marcus glances nervously at his attorney. "Your Honor, the video doesn't show everything that happened before that moment. The video shows you committing assault and battery on an elderly person from behind, Mr. Thompson. That is not self-defense under any legal definition." Officer Mitchell takes the stand, still in her crisp police uniform. She describes the scene. "Your Honor, when I entered McGinty's pub, the defendant was standing over Mr. Chen, who was on the ground bleeding profusely from a head wound. I immediately identified myself as a police officer and ordered the defendant to step away from the victim. He refused completely." "What specifically did he say?" Judge Caprio asks. "He said, and I quote, 'I'm not going anywhere. My father is FBI, Special Agent Robert Thompson. You have no jurisdiction over me. This is a federal matter.' When I informed him that I was placing him under arrest for assault, he became physically resistant and aggressive." "How did he resist?" "He pulled away forcefully, attempted to leave through the back. Exit. When I tried to restrain him, he shoved me hard against a table, knocking glasses to the floor. 2 other patrons had to physically help me get him into handcuffs. He fought us the entire time." Judge Caprio leans forward, his eyes intense. "Officer Mitchell, when the defendant claimed his father, being FBI, meant you had no jurisdiction, how did you respond?" "I told him clearly that local police absolutely have full jurisdiction over state crimes committed in Providence, regardless of who his father is or what position he holds. That's when he became even more aggressive and threatening." Judge Caprio turns to Marcus. "Mr. Thompson, did you tell Officer Mitchell that she had no jurisdiction to arrest you because your father is an FBI agent?" Marcus stands, and this is where his arrogance and sense of entitlement fully, shockingly, reveals itself. He reaches deliberately into his suit jacket's inner pocket and pulls out a black leather credential wallet. He opens it with dramatic flair, revealing an official FBI badge gleaming under the courtroom lights and an official identification card. He holds it up high toward Judge Caprio, his voice dripping with condescension. "Your Honor, see this? FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. My father is Special Agent Robert Thompson." He's been with the Bureau for 22 years. Federal law enforcement authority supersedes local municipal jurisdiction. The courtroom erupts in shocked whispers and gasps. Judge Caprio stares at the badge with absolute disbelief, his face a mask of controlled fury. "Mr. Thompson," Judge Caprio says slowly, each word measured and deliberate, his voice carrying unmistakable authority that silences the courtroom. "Is that your badge?" Marcus smirks with shocking arrogance. "It's my father's badge. Same thing, federal authority runs in the family." "It is absolutely not the same thing, Mr. Thompson. That badge belongs to a sworn federal law enforcement officer who earned it. You are not a federal law enforcement officer. You have no authority whatsoever." Marcus remains standing, still brazenly holding the badge aloft like a shield. "Your Honor, with all due respect, you're a municipal court judge handling local matters. I have federal immunity through my father's position. This entire case should be dismissed immediately and handled through proper federal channels." Judge Caprio removes his glasses with excruciating slowness. Anyone who knows him, anyone who spent time in his courtroom, recognizes this exact moment. This is when his legendary patience has reached its absolute limit, and justice is about to be served in a way nobody in this courtroom expects. "Mr. Thompson, sit down and put that badge away immediately." Marcus doesn't sit. His ego won't allow it. "Your Honor, I'm simply exercising my rights under federal—" "You have no federal rights, Mr. Thompson. That badge is not yours. Flashing it as if it grants you some kind of authority is not just arrogant and disrespectful, it's potentially criminal." Marcus finally realizes he may have crossed a serious line, but his massive ego still won't let him back down completely. "My father gave me this badge specifically for protection, Your Honor. Everyone in law enforcement knows not to mess with FBI families. It's standard practice." The courtroom is absolutely silent. Did he just openly admit his father, an FBI agent, gave him official federal credentials to use for personal protection and to intimidate people? Judge Caprio stands up from his bench and walks around to the front, eliminating the physical distance between himself and Marcus. "Mr. Thompson, I want to make absolutely certain I understand what you just said. Your father, a sworn FBI special agent, gave you his official badge to use for personal protection, to flash at people who, in your words, mess with you?" Marcus's high-priced attorney is frantically signaling him to stop talking, but Marcus is too arrogant to listen. "It's really not a big deal, Your Honor. Lots of federal agents give their family members backup credentials for emergencies and difficult situations. This was not an emergency, Mr. Thompson. This was you violently assaulting a Korean War veteran in a bar and then using your father's FBI badge to try to intimidate a police officer and avoid lawful arrest." Judge Caprio turns sharply to his clerk. "Get me the FBI field office director in Providence on the line, right now, immediately." Marcus's face suddenly drains of all color. "Your Honor, that's really not necessary." "Oh, it's absolutely necessary, Mr. Thompson. You just flashed an FBI badge in my courtroom and claimed federal authority that you absolutely do not have. We're going to clarify this situation with the FBI immediately." Within tense minutes that feel like hours, the clerk has made contact. Judge Caprio's phone system connects to a speakerphone mounted in the courtroom, so every single person present can hear the conversation. A professional, authoritative female voice comes through clearly. "This is Special Agent in Charge Patricia Warren, FBI Providence Field Office. Am I speaking with Judge Frank Caprio?" "Yes, Agent Warren, thank you for taking my call on such short notice. I have you on speakerphone in Providence Municipal Court. We're in the middle of a hearing involving Marcus Thompson, who claims to be the son of FBI Special Agent Robert Thompson. I'm personally aware of Agent Thompson and his service record. What's the issue, Your Honor?" "Agent Warren, the defendant is charged with violently assaulting a 67-year-old decorated Korean War veteran. When police arrested him, he told officers his father's FBI position meant they had no jurisdiction over him. And just moments ago, here in this courtroom, he pulled out what appears to be official FBI credentials, badge and identification card, and claimed federal immunity from prosecution." There's a sharp, audible intake of breath on the other end of the line. "Your Honor, did you just say he has FBI credentials physically in your courtroom right now?" "Yes, Agent Warren, he's been holding them up, displaying them openly." "Those are federal government property, Your Honor. Only authorized, sworn federal law enforcement officers are legally permitted to possess FBI credentials. If Mr. Thompson is not an active FBI agent, his possession of those credentials constitutes a serious federal offense. The courtroom erupts in shocked whispers. Marcus looks like he might vomit. Agent Warren, Mr. Thompson just stated openly in court that his father gave him the badge specifically for protection and to use in situations exactly like this. His exact words were that everyone in law enforcement knows not to mess with FBI families. The silence from the speakerphone is absolutely deafening. When Agent Warren speaks again, her voice is ice cold with barely controlled fury. Your Honor, what you're describing constitutes impersonating a federal officer, unauthorized possession of federal credentials, and misuse of federal authority. These are extremely serious federal crimes. Judge Caprio continues. Agent Warren, I need absolute clarity on something for this court's record. Does being the son of an FBI agent grant any form of federal immunity, federal jurisdiction, or special legal status that would prevent or interfere with local prosecution for state crimes? Absolutely not, Your Honor. Family members of FBI agents have zero federal authority, zero immunity, zero special status whatsoever. Mr. Thompson is subject to state and local laws exactly like every other citizen. Marcus tries desperately to interrupt, but my father specifically told me, Mr. Thompson, be quiet, Judge Caprio orders with thunderous authority. Agent Warren continues, her voice hard. Your Honor, I need to inform you officially that what Mr. Thompson has done constitutes multiple federal violations. Impersonating a federal officer carries up to 3 years in federal prison. Unauthorized possession of FBI credentials is another felony. And if Agent Thompson actually gave his son those credentials for personal use, that agent is in direct violation of FBI regulations and federal law. What do you recommend, Agent Warren? Her response will become legendary in Rhode Island legal history. Your Honor, I'm activating a federal response team right now as we speak. I'm sending FBI agents to your courtroom immediately to take Mr. Thompson into federal custody for impersonating a federal officer. Do not let him leave your courtroom under any circumstances. Federal charges will be formally filed within the hour. The courtroom explodes in shocked reactions. Marcus looks absolutely terrified, his arrogance completely shattered. His attorney sits stunned into complete silence. And Your Honor, Agent Warren adds with steely resolve, I need to speak with Agent Robert Thompson immediately. If he gave his son those credentials, he will be suspended from duty pending full investigation and will likely be terminated from the FBI. Judge Caprio responds with perfect calm. Agent Warren, how long until your agents arrive at this courthouse? 15 minutes maximum, Your Honor. I'm personally dispatching them from our downtown Providence office right now. Please secure Mr. Thompson and the FBI credentials he's unlawfully holding. Understood completely. Thank you, Agent Warren. The call ends. The silence in the courtroom is absolutely total and crushing. Judge Caprio turns to Marcus, who's now visibly shaking, sweat visible on his forehead. Mr. Thompson, give that badge and identification to my bailiff right now. Marcus's hands tremble violently as he hands over the credential wallet. The bailiff takes it and secures it as evidence. Marcus starts crying, his voice breaking. Your Honor, I didn't mean... I was just trying to... My dad is going to lose his entire job because of me. Mr. Thompson, your father may very well lose his job because he gave you federal credentials to misuse. You both made choices. You're both facing consequences. Judge Caprio addresses Thomas Chen with visible emotion. Mr. Chen, would you like to say anything? Thomas stands slowly, his voice quiet but carrying tremendous weight. Your Honor, I served in Korea from 1951 to 1953. I was at Pork Chop Hill. I've been disrespected before in my life, but never by someone claiming their father's badge made them untouchable. I just wanted to have a quiet dinner with my friends, fellow veterans. I didn't deserve to be shoved and injured by someone who thinks veterans are old guys who should go home. Mr. Chen, you deserve better. You've always deserved better. This court will make absolutely sure Mr. Thompson understands that. Exactly 14 minutes after the call ended, the courtroom doors burst open dramatically. 4 FBI agents in dark suits wearing visible FBI credentials on their belts enter with purpose and authority. The lead agent approaches the bench. Your Honor, I'm Special Agent Michael Ross. We're here for Marcus Thompson. Agent Ross, Mr. Thompson is right there at the defendant's table. Agent Ross approaches Marcus with practiced efficiency. Marcus Thompson, you're under arrest for impersonating a federal officer and unauthorized possession of federal credentials. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Two other agents move to either side of Marcus, placing him in handcuffs with swift professionalism. The courtroom watches in absolute stunned silence as FBI agents arrest Marcus Thompson right there in Judge Caprio's courtroom. The man who walked in confident and arrogant, flashing a badge claiming immunity, is now being led out in federal handcuffs by the very agency whose authority he tried to falsely claim. After the FBI leaves with Marcus, Judge Caprio addresses the courtroom with profound gravity. Ladies and gentlemen, what you witnessed today is critically important. No badge, no family connection, no claimed immunity places anyone above the law. Within hours, news spreads. The FBI releases a statement. The FBI does not tolerate misuse of federal credentials. Marcus Thompson faces federal charges. Agent Robert Thompson is under investigation. 3 days later, FBI Special Agent Robert Thompson is terminated after 22 years. Marcus pleads guilty. 18 months in federal prison. 15 months later, Marcus returns changed. The arrogance is gone. Your Honor, I assaulted Mr. Chen. I disrespected a veteran. I flashed my father's badge. I destroyed my father's career. I deserve everything that happened. Judge Caprio sentences him to time served, probation, 500 hours community service at veteran organizations, and full restitution. Marcus turns to Thomas. Mr. Chen, I called you old guy. I shoved you from behind. I'm sorry. Thomas stands. Mr. Thompson, I accept your apology. Badges don't make you special. Service and character make you special. 6 months later, Marcus works at a Veterans Outreach Center. Thomas walks in. I volunteer here twice a week. Now we can work together. They shake hands. A Korean War veteran and the man who once assaulted him, now working side by side. 1 year later, Marcus writes Judge Caprio, you exposed my crimes, you destroyed my arrogance, you saved my life. If this story moved you, subscribe for more incredible moments where Judge Frank Caprio proves no badge, no false claim of authority places anyone above justice. Remember Judge Caprio's words, no badge you didn't earn can protect you from consequences. That's the legacy of Judge Frank Caprio. That's the integrity of FBI Agent Warren. That's the grace of Thomas Chen. Justice served, federal crimes exposed, badge dishonored, then honored through accountability.